Does anybody have any idea what there is to expect from North Carolina this year?
No, I really don't. And I say that college football is a sport of systems, and even more so than pro football, because you have so much talent prospecting to do. You have so much management, and you have so much to organize in terms of how things work day to day. And what happens in the field isn't as complex as what happens in the NFL. It's not. Like, plays are simpler, schemes are simpler, but I think there's an added level of complexity in terms of your roster management, in terms of now we actually have payroll management, and you can call it that because that's what it is. And then the fact that you have to coexist with this university and all the weird demands, like everyone kind of has to cosplay as a student. Right? Like, hey, I'm going to go do school stuff now. I've got a backpack. Okay. Cool. That's all part of the deal there. And I don't know what Bill Belichick has in the bag for that element of it. Sometimes teams just forget how to do everything all at once. I've seen it. I have seen it. I've seen it with my own team. I'm a Florida fan. And in 2010, when Urban Meyer came back from his breakdown, that team all of a sudden didn't know how to do anything. Lost all the coaches, lost everyone who sort of remembered how to do things. And they came out game one and you went, oh no, they forgot how to play football. That might happen. UNC might roll out against Charlotte and we have no idea what they're doing. That might happen. I don't think that will happen. I think they'll be competent, but the idea that they're going to be great is absurd. Look at the roster, look at what they've got, look how bad they were on defense at times last year. Look how ineffective or inconsistent they were on offense at times last year. I don't think it's reasonable to expect them to be good. I think they might be average, and that's probably what you should expect in year one from most coaching staffs. And I think that's what you can expect out of this one. The idea that he'll be different than any coach at this level is absurd to me, especially when you've seen pro coaches come back to college and be perfectly average, if not bad.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because they've spent a lot of money. At least North Carolina's idea of a lot of money between Belichick and various things that he has wanted to get that program off the ground. I have said many times, what did him in with the Patriots was poor talent evaluation. Mm-hmm. And he is now in a sport that is about talent evaluation in a much different way, because it is much more based on present value and forecasting future value. Yeah. It's a different. It also would then require Belichick to do a lot more leaning on other people, because you just can't keep up with everything that you need to keep up with. I remember one of the first big transfers he came in from Holy Cross, which made me very nervous, right? I was like, here we go, big brain Bill. He's out here trying to overthink what this situation is. He is also Bill Belichick. And my concern with him is asking a college professor to teach pre-algebra does not always work out so well, right? Can he come down to the level and the capacity that the teenager has and recognize the actual discipline that the teenagers are going to produce? I think that's number one there. Number two, you can't scheme up defense in college. Not really, right? You every now and then, whoever the first people were that came up with those 3-3-5s, or Charlie Strong with the 4-2, you could come up with a paradigm change maybe that gets you ahead of things and works with what your shortcomings are in talent. But overall, if you don't have the boys, you can't play defense, especially not in college.
Well, I'm going to speak out of turn here for any coach, but here's what I have observed. And it is this, that at times, and by the way, I'm roundabout quoting Bill Belichick here, that when you get to the third and the fourth quarter, you've gone from 80 plays on your sheet on both sides of the ball to 2. There's probably 3 or 4 plays that are going to work. And in college, if you got those guys, and in the NFL, if you have those guys, but in college, if you've got those guys, you'd be stupid not to run them. I want you to go watch Georgia. Go watch Georgia. Okay. The best managed program of the last 5 or 6 years of college football. And what you need to watch is what they do when they're in trouble. And they really need to bear down and fix things. They go play cover 1. They play basic stuff, pretty basic. And then they just kick your ass. So when in doubt, be big. When in doubt, be strong. And when in doubt, be mean. And I think that's something that Belichick's probably going to hone in on, but he doesn't have those guys.
Yeah.
So if it goes to a matter of scheme, it won't matter because one, his team probably won't be able to pull it off. You talk to trainers, and my favorite things, he goes, yeah, if you go to like one of those small smart schools, they understand the concept immediately and they can't do it. If you go to like a big FBS program, like a top 10 program, they can do whatever you ask them to do, whatever it is, instantly, but they might not understand it. Right. That's the deal. And I think that's the gap that Belichick is going to have to bridge, because in the NFL, you can cherry pick big smart. You can cherry pick big smart fast every single time. In college, they might have one of the three. And if they got two, they're an All-American. And if they got big smart fast, they're an NFL guy, which is 1% of the population of FBS players. So it's interesting to me, the hiring of some of the guys that he's brought on board who just feel like boys, who just feel like his boys, that doesn't inspire confidence. It doesn't. And again, that's not against Bill. That's against anyone. If you just bring in a bunch of your dudes, right? Like if you have anything to worry about at Georgia, for instance, it's the fact that you go, hey, all these guys know Kirby and played with him in the 90s. Like that just never, organizationally, that doesn't feel great.
Right.
Even if the results are still pretty much on par. I don't like that. I like it when it feels a little more professional. Because that to me seems like a better environment for like ideas and managing your culture or whatever. That's really not what you've seen at UNC. Like at UNC, it feels chummy. It feels like they've hired a bunch of Belichick's old boys, including Mike Lombardi, to manage
That's the one.
roster.
That's the one that tells me, that makes me feel like this is an unserious operation.
Buddy, pal. I'm gonna bust out a pun. Hold on, let me reach deep into the Caucasian back here. Buddy, do you think that's gonna work out? Because I'm gonna tell you, as a neutral observer, that doesn't seem like a great move.
I just don't know where it's worked, and that includes the NFL Network.
Yeah, I've seen the previous work, and counting on this to be some kind of like revolutionary organization that's going to redefine how we do things at the college level. I heard that at Arizona State when you brought in Herm Edwards.
That's right.
Yeah, I don't think that's what we're going to end up with. This feels like the over-under on wins is 7.5, and Vegas feels a lot smarter than I do at this point.
Well, hold on. It would be so great if Bill Belichick had his Antonio Pierce. A great all-time, like the last great college football renegade, because the rules are, and Antonio was not down there doing renegade stuff with money. He just had a complete and total absence of respect for these silly NCAA rules. And that's how you get Jayden Daniels to come to Arizona State, by the way.
Yeah. What was that man doing there? Like they had him. If you watch with Jayden Daniels at Arizona State and the things that they were asking him to do, he gets to LSU, a place, by the way, not known for being like revolutionary, not known for being super innovative, just doing what everyone else does for the most part. They got him there and they're like, oh, we should just let you ball. That is not what he was doing at Arizona State. Yeah, he could end up with that guy. He could end up with an Antonio Pierce. He could end up, the idea of Bill Belichick having the kind of conversations that Nick Saban had, like where he's making these nuts jokes, right? Because remember, Nick Saban, terrifying reputation, but would also make a lot of jokes about his nuts with players.
Yes.
Like that's, if you want to know where water met its level eventually, right? It would be that. And I don't necessarily see Bill Belichick being the same. Do you think they're going to pick up on that dry New England wit? Right? Do you think they're gonna find that parsimony of words charming? I don't think that do your job is gonna sell quite as well at the college level, particularly when their brains haven't even really fully formed.
Right. Even if they're getting paid. Like that's the thing that I think a lot of these coaches are gonna have to divorce themselves from. Though we're paying you to do this, it's not gonna work like you think. It's just not, because they're kids. Like, it doesn't go this way.
Like it's a lot like, I think at that point you think of a salary more as a bunch of candy in a stocking than you do as reward for your work. You go, oh, I found this. Neat.
Yes.
And I think that is probably how the majority of football players think of it, because it's certainly how I thought about it when I was like 18 to 22. You get a paycheck and go, I don't know what that's for, but we're going to see.
So I'm going to say this right fast before we get to our last topic, and it's only because you mentioned the Urban Meyer 2010 season, and Ryan, LSU grad, and I were talking about this. The day that Urban Meyer's tenure at Florida officially ended was not that first game. I can pinpoint it to a specific moment.
Mm-hmm.
It is when LSU played this game at the Swamp and called a fake field goal that involved the holder throwing the ball over his shoulder to the kicker,
Yeah.
who I believe walked in for a touchdown.
He did. It was a great call.
And in the post game, when they asked Urban Meyer a question about Les Miles, and all he could do was wave his hand to shush the question away, because Les Miles broke that man's spirit that day. That was the day it ended.
Cooked, fried, done. I thought the same thing when I saw Matt Stafford heading into like some sort of quackery Airstream trailer, and they're like, yeah, his back hurts, so he's going to get infrared treatment on it. You're like, done. Yes. That man's no, don't you, buddy? No, as Charles McDonald would say, nobody used to have a bad back.
That's a great Charles McDonald, who has a bad back.
Who has a bad back. Younger than me. Oh yeah, like I should call, like borrowing some lingo here, I should call Charles McDonald Unc. That is how old man style Charles McDonald lives. And he talks about having a bad back more than I do. And I'm much older than Charles.
No, that is a great line. Some have had back injuries, but you are correct. If you say you have a bad back, nobody has a bad back. J.A. Adande always tells this story about this quote from Kobe about taking charges that J.A. refers to as charges are for suckers. And they asked Kobe about taking charges. He was like, I saw Bird take a lot of charges. He got a fucked up back. And that's Kobe talking, not me. He's like, I saw Scottie Pippen take a lot of charges. He's got a fucked up back. Saw Dennis Rodman take a lot of charges. He's got a fucked up back. I never saw Magic take any charges. His back is just fine. I never saw Mike take any charges. His back is just fine. Hey, I'm not about to be on team bad back.
Coach K is like the king of take the charge, right? You seen Coach K laying on the court in the middle of a game? Not taking a charge.